Welcome everyone to the free training with JFF around credit card debt. The first things I want to say to you guys is I respect you for being here. I commend you for being here, right? Because a lot of people do have credit card debt. You are not in this boat alone, and we'll talk about that in the training. But the most important part is that you're stepping up and you're trying to take care of it. Because a lot of people get deeper into credit card debt, deeper into credit card debt by ignoring it, neglecting it, trying to put it out of sight, out of mind, and that's where it snowballs and gets out of hand. So what we're going to do today is, for one, continue to applaud you for stepping up and coming to this training, right? Show you that you're not alone, but also empower you to make a difference in your future. Because a lot of times credit card debt in the past was not your fault, because the system really is just set up for you to fail, and we're going to teach you and show you how. But I always tell people though, your past may have not been your fault, but it is darn well your responsibility to step up and take care of your future. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today. At the end, we're going to show you this incredible tool that we have created for our clients that dumps their information into it around their credit card debt, and it spits them out exactly how and when they're going to be able to get out of that credit card debt. This is literally an answer to your prayers, and we cannot wait to provide it to you and be with you every step of the way. And we are so super honored that you're trusting us to do so. We're going to see you on the inside, guys. We're going to get these results rolling. All right, friends. So welcome inside the credit card debt training. So the first thing is I want you to make you guys just feel comfortable. You're okay. This is a safe space. You don't have to feel ashamed, embarrassed, or any guilt around this. And I know that you're just saying that may not help in totality, but I want you to really know that. I don't put you at fault for this, because I realize that in most instances, credit card debt just wasn't the consumer's fault. In most instances, right? Or at least in totality. And what I mean by that is the system's set up for you to fail. Right? It's set up to take advantage of you. The majority of this country is financially illiterate. And then even if you are financially illiterate, credit cards and interest rates and how they work, it's still massively confusing. It took me a while to figure out and then optimize the use of. Right? So it's almost guaranteed that if you start using credit cards, that you may have an issue with them at some point in time. So don't feel ashamed of it, because most likely, again, wasn't your fault. And then, a lot of other people are going through it. But let's not use that excuse, right, to hold us back from doing better. Because I like to say a lot that, your past may not have been your fault, but it is darn well your responsibility to step up and take care of your future. That's exactly what we want to equip you to do today here with this training and our further trainings that will allow you to figure out how to get out of this credit card debt, know that you're going to do it, and then actually make it happen. And we promise you it has happened time and time again. We have clients that have done $40,000 to $50,000 in credit card debt in 6 months. We've had clients that were on the verge of bankruptcy and found us, and now are out of credit card debt, have the proper emergency funds, or now are investing and have a great wealth. So I promise you there is a option, there is a possibility, there is a strong chance, and we're going to give you that best chance at doing so. One thing I want to really harp on is that credit cards aren't the problem, right? So if you had problems with them in the past, you may think that they're the problem, which is understandable. If your parents or your friends or, one of your colleagues had issues, they're probably made you think that credit cards are the problem, but they're not. Credit cards aren't the problem. The way people misuse or abuse them are, right? And so think of it this way, right? If you're a person of faith like myself, I always tell people God put wine and alcohol and sex on this earth. Where it went bad was when man misused and abused alcohol and sex, right? Same thing with credit cards, right? Credit cards are good if you utilize them the right way. The way we misuse or choose to abuse them is where that they turn evil and wrong. It has nothing to do with the credit card. It's a piece of plastic, right? It actually has a mass amounts of leverage in life. It gives you a mass amounts of leverage in life. It provides a mass amounts of benefits in life if used the right way. So if you use the right way, right, which we'll talk about, in further trainings and, later on in this training, it provides things like cash back, which is literally free money, free travel. I can't remember the last time I paid for a flight, right? Borrowing credibility to show that you're a trustworthy borrower of somebody else's money, which, you're going to want to leverage that borrowing credibility for a car loan or a house loan down the road, and many other benefits. My fiance and I, we just added up our cash back rewards last month from our proper use of credit cards, and we had well over $400. It's free money for utilizing a credit card the right way that you wouldn't have gotten if you utilized cash or a debit card, right? And so the biggest things is, understanding where your emotions are coming from around those credit cards. There's a huge emotional piece, and it most times has to do with the mistakes that ourselves or someone close to us in the past has made with credit cards, and then those negative repercussions that you saw, and then also what you were taught or now think about credit cards because of that past of you or someone that was close to you, right? And what that's doing is it's putting you in a box and it's talking down to you. It's putting you in a box because it's telling you you're not responsible enough yourself to figure out how to use credit cards and teach your family and other people to do the same. And it's putting you in a box because it's not allowing you to capitalize on the mass amounts of benefits that proper credit card utilization has for you and your family. So now that we understand the idea around credit cards not being the problem, to forgive yourself for the past issues that you've had, and to understand there's a mass amounts of benefit to utilizing them the right way, before we get you to utilizing them the right way, we need to get you out of the current credit card debt that you have. Have no fear. We have the fastest, most effective, most efficient, cheapest way possible to get you out of this credit card debt, and we're going to teach you how. So what I'll do next is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you where to start, and then show you some products that some of our clients use that we have created and have available to you as well, if you like, if that's something that you're interested in, to be able to utilize, to plug your information into it, whether that be what you have to your name savings-wise right now, what you owe on these credit cards, and then the answer is going to be spit out to us exactly how and when you're going to be able to get out of this credit card debt. So I'm super excited for you guys to dive into this, because a lot of the stress around the credit card debt is, I have no idea how or when I'm going to get out of this. And we provide you that answer, that how and when. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to walk you through this process, and then we'll go from there. All right, so welcome to the screen share, where we're going to be going over the first step in regards to getting you out of credit card debt, which is figuring out what your assets and your liabilities are. That's just a fancy way of saying what you're worth, your assets, versus what you owe, your liabilities, right? So this is what you're looking at is a balance sheet template, which is basically what we build and provide for our clients to help them get clear on this information to expedite this process and this goal accomplishment. So at the top, you can see that this is the assets section. So if we're walking through this, assets are just, your cash, your paper bills, your checking account, your savings account, any investments you have. If you own a car outright, that's an asset because it can make you money if you sold it, right? You guys get the point. So we built this specific but theoretical example here for you to show you that this client, right, has $100 in cash. She has $650 in a checking account. She has $3,000 in a savings account, and she has $11,300 in a retirement fund, which is a 401k, which you guys have probably heard of, which is provided by her employer, right? So in totality, she's got $15,000 in assets, right? Not a terrible little situation, right? Then down here, you can see that the liability, she doesn't own a house, she rents, so she has no mortgage, but she does have a car loan, which is $18,000 at a 5% interest rate. And she has 2 credit cards that are these old interest-bearing credit cards that are from past debt. That's old debt on there. Like I said, it's accruing interest and, just has that doom and gloom gray cloud over her head, and she has no idea how or when she's going to get out of it. They've got some decent balances on there with some pretty hefty interest rates. So one of them is has the Chase credit card has $2,850 on there with a 17.99% interest rate. And then the Bank of America card has $1,155 on there with a 21.99% interest rate, right? So really the purpose of this is it's the first step, like I said, that it serves, is to show you exactly how much you have to your name to go towards your financial goals, let's say like paying off your credit card debt if you did want to choose to utilize some of the money in your savings account to do that. And then how much you have in debts, most importantly credit cards, so we know exactly how much and what the interest rates are and how we want to be able to attack them. So it gives us that starting foundation of what we have to go towards credit card debt and then what we actually have in credit card debt to go after, right? Then from there, we have an awesome, extremely intuitive analysis that's worth its weight in gold that is going to allow you to dump this information into and show you exactly how and when you're going to get out of this credit card debt, right? So let's go over to that analysis. Bear with me as it's a little busy, right? But I'm going to break it down for you and show you it's not that hard. And again, this analysis is what our clients have access to, and you guys do have full-blown access to it as well, if you like in further trainings. And with that said, if you like what you're hearing and what you're seeing today, and you want to take this a step deeper, if you're watching this on in our private Facebook group, just comment on in the comment section of the video and comment the word foundations. Myself or one of my strategy team members, who are incredible individuals, will reach out to, and we're going to take a free one-on-one call with you to answer any questions you have and see how we can implement this in your life and get you out of this credit card debt as fast and as cheap as we possibly can and get that out of the way and keep climbing towards your other financial goals. If you're getting this via email, just respond back to justfinancialfoundations@gmail, and you'll most likely get me directly. And again, I'm going to reach out and get you directly on the books as fast as I possibly can so we can start talking about this and answer any questions that you have. But with that said, let's keep it moving here because we got a lot of learning left to do. So up here is a little of analysis that I built that has had mass amounts of success with our clients. Like I've mentioned before, we've had clients of huge success stories, $40,000 in several months, avoiding bankruptcy, saving so much money and interest on these credit cards, and then, helping repair their credit score, utilizing them the right way. And it all starts with gathering that balance sheet first and then transferring the information over here into this analysis. So again, here's those credit cards again. And what we do is we actually link these sheets. So every time we update the balance sheet, we teach our clients how to do it, then it updates this one automatically. So it has those credit card names, the balances, the interest rates, and then the annual interest that you're paying on these cards to show you which one is the most expensive. This is a raw example of annual interest. What I mean by that, it's just the balance times the interest rate equals this number. Obviously, as you pay this down over time, then the amount of interest that you pay is going to be lower because the balance is lower. But again, this is just from a teaching perspective. We're throwing this annual interest out there to show you from a raw or high level, right, which one is your most expensive one. And as you can see, the most expensive one is this Chase one, right? It's costing the person $512.72 a year in interest and compared to $253.98. Then we have the current monthly payments over here, these are minimum payments that these clients are making, which most people end up doing, which they don't realize they're accruing so much interest in the long run, right? Or if they are paying more, they're just willy-nilly just throwing extra money at it with no plan, and we're going to teach you how to throw extra money at it with an objective plan, right? So over here, it's just kind of a nice to have column to show you once you rid yourself of this credit card debt, you'll have $135 back in the budget that you're not paying towards credit card debt, plus save yourself this $766.70 a year in interest. So with that said, the purpose of this part of the analysis is to show you which one is the most expensive card. So it debunks one of those myths, because you hear other people out there say, go after the highest interest rate. Well, that's stupidity, because if that was true, you would want to go after this card, right? But 21.99% of $1,100 is a lot less than 18% of $2,850. And as you can see right here, so if you would have taken that advice and went after the highest interest rate, you would have went after the cheaper of the cards, right? And cost yourself a lot more money in interest by paying this one off first, right? I hope this makes sense so far. So we're basically just congregating all your information, getting some clarity on what you have versus, what you owe, right? Then putting it into here to see which one's the most expensive one, so we can then know what to go after first, right? Then we're going to come down here. This part of the analysis shows you exactly how much you have cash on hand. All it's doing is just summing up this amount over here on the balance sheet, which is cash, checking, and savings, right? We're not counting the retirement fund or any other investments as cash on hand because that is set aside for retirement. We want to utilize it for retirement if we can. Let it serve its objective, right? And not have to pull from it soon or early if we don't have to, right? Loans against your 401k are okay if we decide that the rewards outweigh the risk, but that's a little bit more expert level, a little bit more complicated, which we teach down the road in other trainings. But with that said, for right now, we want to leave that alone and only account for what you have cash on hand, which is your cash, your paper bills, your checking accounts, and your savings account. And this person in this scenario has $3,750. In other trainings and other things that we teach, one of the biggest goals of our clients, that we find is to have the proper amount of emergency funds cash on hand, right? Which means that they have the correct amount set aside in a pot of money, and if an emergency popped up, they know they had the money to be able to help their family weather a storm for a long period of time. Right, so the amount that this client should have based on past trainings and what we figured out with this scenario would be $9,200. Right, with that said, they are $5,450 short of the amount of money that they need in emergency funds. So we have a choice here. We have a choice moving forward, right? If there's an overage, nope, there's no overage. Is there an underage? Yes. If yes, right, do we want to use our excess money in the budget each month to pay off credit card debt or go towards the goal of paying off of securing our emergency funds? So again, this is by preference, right? So some people would be like, I'd rather get my emergency fund set aside first, then attack the credit card debt. Other people are like, I'd rather use all of my leftover money in the budget each month to go towards credit card debt just to get that out of the way and stop having that be over my head, and then shift my focus to emergency funds. So it's all up to you based on preference. With this theoretical example, we're going to say that this person was like, I'm okay with operating with just $37.50 in the bank, right? I know it's a little short of the emergency funds, but at least it's something, right? At least I have something there if an emergency pops up. And I want to utilize all of my leftover money and my budget each month, the profit, right? So you make a certain amount, spend a certain amount, what's left over, right? I want to use all of that to go towards credit card debt to get me out of that first. Then I'll reshift my focus towards building my emergency fund. So, okay, fine. Right, we want you to be able to spend your money the way you want to, as long as you realize that what the negative repercussions or the risks are of doing so, and then you're comfortable in doing that. And so, with that said, this person has $4,000, right over $4,000 in credit card debt. Right, they're not going to use any of their savings to go towards that. They're not going to touch their 401k. Instead, they're going to use all of their monthly profits for future months in their budget moving forward to chip away at that credit card debt. So we also build custom budgets for our clients as well too, which you will also have access to in additional trainings if you like. So from this scenario, we built a custom budget for our client, right? And it's showing that in the month of May, she's going to profit $360.63. Same thing in June. July is going to be a little heftier because of bonus hits. August, September, October, November, and then December a little bit heftier too as well. So it's showing your monthly profits, right, each month, right? So from May through December, over the next 8 months, right, she is going to profit these amount each month, which adds up to be $4,200, which matches this amount. So by December, by profiting this much each month based on what we find in the budget and utilizing that money to go towards credit card debt, it's showing that by December, she would have enough money to have chipped away at all of this credit card debt. So it's showing you the how and the when. Again, people will have that concern. I have no idea how and when I'm going to get out of credit card debt. The how is profiting this amount each month, which comes from the budget that we build you. And the when is through these months. So you'll know that by December, if you follow your budget and if you follow this plan, you will be out of that interest-bearing old credit card debt that is causing you so much unnecessary stress and anxiety. This training, this sheet right here, and the other things that we provide for our clients are an answer to your prayers that you can't put a price tag on, let alone for these free trainings and the very inexpensive ones that we have available to you, right? And so we pride ourselves on this working for every single client. We pride ourselves on accomplishing all of your financial goals for you, and most importantly, massively decreasing the stress and anxiety that you and your family are going through that you don't have to go through. And we want to relieve you of that. So with that said, we put these plans together for you. We have these available to you. Another quick thing to touch on is that, you'll hear about balance transfers. Balance transfers on credit cards, right? There's a few stipulations. You got to, one, get approved for the credit card, right? So if your credit's not in a good situation, you may not be able to do that quite yet until we start to chip away at some of these payments and help. And then also you got to get approved for enough of a limit on the new credit card that you're transferring the amount over to be able to transfer these current credit cards to. With that said, a balance transfer is just taking the balance from credit card A and putting it on credit card B, because credit card B has a lower interest rate, so it'll allow you to pay it off faster while paying less interest, right? In other future trainings, we teach you how to utilize those strategies, and plenty of my clients have done it in the past. What it allows you to do is to stop accruing interest ASAP. So you stop accruing this annual interest ASAP, and you have 15 months, let's say, 0% interest to pay the balance off now. So, it allows you to get your head above water, because every time people make these minimum payments on these credit cards, the interest just gets added on again, right? And so you're barely making any leeway. So these balance transfers allow you to stop accruing those interests. So we'll teach you how to utilize those, maybe in parallel, or in addition to this plan here. But it's just a nice to have, other thing to have. What we have here for you should suffice, and we do realize we want to, and it's in your best interest to go the balance transfer route. We'll teach you exactly how to do that and how to correlate it with this direct plan as well too. So the big goal is, after you get out of that credit card debt, right, is to utilize them the right way, right? You don't want to stop utilizing the credit cards. You don't want to shut them down, because that's going to hurt your credit score, right? You want to learn, after we get you out of this old interest-bearing credit card debt, how to utilize them the right way, and how to, not spend more than you make, put just your basic necessities and expenses on there, pay it off on time, never carry a balance, never accrue any interest, and reap all of the mass amounts of rewards in result of doing so. And then how to automatically set up your payments to know you're paying off the exact amounts. You don't got to worry about going in and doing it yourself. And that's all things that we're going to teach you in the next training as well too, to take all this to the next level. And we promise you that you are going to get out of this interest-bearing credit card debt, and it never will be a problem for you ever again in the future. And instead, you're going to utilize credit cards the right way, increase your credit score, increase your financial literacy, and reap the massive positive results of doing so in the process. Get yourself a free vacation, cashback rewards, and a whole bunch of other things that you will attain in the process of getting yourself out of this credit card debt and then optimizing the use from there. We're so super excited. Thank you guys for trusting us with such a touchy topic. Again, I'll do anything I possibly can to help. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the inside.